Tane, who went on to star opposite Leonardo DiCaprio in one of the biggest movies of all time, Titanic. Let's have a look.
Well, that's typical. First class dogs come down here to take a shite.
It lets us know where we rank in the scheme of things.
Like we could forget. I'm Tommy Ryan.
Jack Dawson.
Now, he freely admits he's made some bad career choices since then, and he's had a tough enough 15 years, but he's doing well now, and he's come back to Ireland from LA to star in the brilliant Love Hate. Please welcome Jason Barry.
Firstly, I'm not going to talk about my crotch. No chance. And I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that guy, but there you go.
OK, well, listen, I can assure you anyway that the couches are well cleaned.
I know, I saw that. I'm very happy
so
about that.
Don't worry about your suit. Listen, if you don't mind me saying, you look a little bit different. Have you been on a diet?
No. I run marathons and I take good care of myself. Very different than the guy I was 15 years ago. And
the hair is...
The hair's gone. All those beautiful curls are long gone.
Yeah. You look good.
No, you know, it's...
He does, doesn't he, Doug?
Well, I think you know, you said in the intro there, I did kind of let myself go physically. You know, when you're a young actor, you get a bit of success and you have some money in your back pocket. And after Titanic, I went back to London and I didn't necessarily take care of myself physically and probably spent way too much time in bars that I shouldn't have done.
OK, but that has to be done too.
That has to be done. When you're in your 20s, it's OK to do that.
Yeah.
And I think my career suffered from that because I kind of lost focus on the acting.
Will we come back to that in a minute, maybe? Because I want to kind of maybe start at the beginning, so that with Titanic.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just thinking, you must have seen all the Titanic crowd again recently with the re-release and everything.
I did.
Did they recognise you?
No, they didn't, no.
Really?
No. I mean, I've seen James Cameron the odd time in LA, so he did.
Yeah.
But bumping into Kate Winslet, we were both being interviewed, I think, when you do the press line.
Yeah.
And she kind of turned and she looked at me and she went, "Jason?" I said, "Yeah." And she kind of stopped her interview, dragged me into the middle of the red carpet, and we had a great chat. Yeah. She did not recognise me at all. And we spent 6 months together, so we were quite pally at the time.
Did you stay in touch
No,
afterwards
I mean,
much?
You know, back in 1996, 97, it was before the days of cell phones or mobiles or the email, internet. So it was very hard to stay in touch with people.
Yeah, so there was no Facebook or that kind of thing?
No, there was none of that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, actually, since the 3D premiere, I've been emailing Kate Winslet a lot, so it's kind of got that friendship going again. But it was a weird time, and you know, you always get somebody's phone number, but you know, when you're dealing with like Leonardo DiCaprio or James Cameron or Kate Winslet, they're big stars, so they change the numbers a lot. They go through the numbers a lot. So once you lose it, you lose it. Yeah.
So you spent 6 months. It was down in Mexico, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So like, obviously this is every Irish guy's dream. You were hanging around with Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah?
Yeah, we had some good nights.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had us in a hotel where we'd stay there for 6 months. Everybody's in a hotel, and you know, you have a bunch of young people who, you know. Have some
boys
fun.
Gotta do what boys gotta do.
And you know, when you're with Leonardo DiCaprio, pretty much all the women flock to him, and it's...
So you get a little few crumbs off the table, like...
A few crumbs, yeah.
That's all right.
Pretty nice crumbs, you know,
I'd say so, yeah. His cast-offs would be the rest of ours.
His cast-offs would be, you know, top-notch cast-offs,
yeah, good stuff. But listen, the funny thing is, people, like, you know, you would imagine with Titanic shown again at Christmas, or it's coming back out now, that you're getting big checks and all that, but you...
No, I because they shot the film in Mexico, I wasn't eligible to be a member of the Screen Actors Guild. So basically, they cast a bunch of us in London, brought us straight to Mexico, so you got your flat fee. So
they made Titanic on the cheap.
They did, yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, that film, I think, if they had made it in the States, probably would have cost $300-400 million. Shoot it in Mexico, half the price. Bring 90% of your actors over from the UK. I was living in London at the time. And get us on the cheap. Yeah. I mean, everyone thinks I'm a millionaire from it, but unfortunately not. You know.
And come here, is it tough then, you mind me asking, when you were meeting up with them again? And obviously, I suppose Leonardo and Kate were just on the cusp, I suppose, and it was Titanic maybe made. Was it tough a little bit going back and you see them and they're now like what they are?
I think so. I mean, I had to take responsibility for some of my own decisions and some of my bad choices, you know, and you know,
So you were saying that basically that after the movie ended, I presume there's a window there where if you've been in a huge movie
Yeah.
like that, there's a window where you
No,
can
I got
capitalise
lucky.
on it.
I got lucky. I went to LA and I got a movie with Dennis Leary and Martin Sheen called Monument Avenue. Really,
Okay.
really good movie. We shot that in Boston. Then I spent a bit of time in New York. And then I probably should have gone back to LA, but instead I went back to London. And I worked, you know, but not
Yeah.
the kind of work that when you're in such a big film like Titanic and then Monument Avenue, I definitely didn't go to the places that I should have or
And did you have an agent or something saying to you, listen, dude, you
yeah,
should be
yeah,
in
no,
LA
I
and all
did,
that,
I
but
did.
you knew
I'll be honest, I was my own worst enemy, you know,
Yeah.
and I didn't help myself. And then I did a movie in Australia, and instead of coming home straight after the movie, I stayed in Australia for 7 or 8 months. So
But in fairness, again, like every Irish guy, dream. You stayed in Australia because you got together with Nicola Charles from that we know from Neighbours. isn't
Neighbours,
that
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think we
yeah.
have a picture of her there, just to remind people. Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
good. You see, I'd be thinking career. I don't know. Maybe I'll stay here in Australia. For a
no,
while.
I mean, you know, it's not rocket science, really,
Yeah.
is it? You know,
And you got married, and
we got married here actually, and when we're divorced now, but we have 2 beautiful kids, and yeah, I mean, there's Freyan over there.
oh, there's the kids.
Yeah, look
Oh,
at
for
that.
God's sake! How old are they?
7 and 4.
Okay,
2
and you.
beautiful little things.
They are gorgeous. And is everyone living in LA now?
Yeah, LA,
Nichola's there
and
the
she has
kids are
some
there
work
and you're-
things in Australia as well, so kind
Okay.
of splitting time between that.
But
yeah.
you get to see the kids a lot. And
I,
you're all
I
more or
do,
less-
you know, I mean, it's been hard here. I've been here for the last 2.5 months, and they're obviously too young to kind of travel. So you get to Skype them and stuff,
Yeah.
which is great, but it's kind of, there's always a sadness at the end of a Skype call
Oh
because
God,
you
I'd
just
say
you
so,
can't,
yeah.
you can't touch them.
Because in a way, it's like it almost makes it worse if you
It
didn't
does.
see them at all.
It does.
You
It's
see
like
them there, but
it's like I was saying. You know, when I first moved to London in 1993, 94, before Skype, and like you would write a letter. I remember always writing letters to my. Well, I think one of my brothers is in the audience. I remember writing letters because that's what you did.
Yeah.
So there was a sadness to that. Because then you get a letter back 6 weeks later.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
forgot that what you said in your letter. So Skype, it's a wonderful tool because you get to see faces, but there's a sadness to it as well because it shows those faces and you see the emotion on the faces. And there's always a sadness at the end of a Skype call, for me anyway.
yeah. Yeah, but I can imagine being away from your little girls.
Yeah,
like
from
that,
my
yeah.
kids. And it's obviously difficult as well when you're divorced, you're no longer a partnership. So maybe if we were still together, the family would have come over. But now that she's getting on with her life, it's not as easy for me to arrange for the kids to come and see me. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to work around that. And it is what it is. And you just try to be the best dad you can and be there as much as you can, you know, even though divorce is not pleasant, and it's not pleasant on a 7 and a 4-year-old. You know, it's just not.
No, I'm sure it's not. How
Yeah.
long are you divorced now?
About 18 months now.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how are you getting on?
I'm fine.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm enjoying it here. It's a great job, Love Hate. I'm very happy to be on it. They're a great bunch of people. They're great scripts.
Yeah.
I
Did
think-
you were you aware of what an impact Love Hate had made here? Like, as you,
I was aware of. I hadn't seen it. I was aware of how successful it was, but I had no idea how big it was until I got here. Like, it's a huge show, and deservedly so. It's
How do you talk in Love Hate?
well, just I'm not going to say anything to anything, but it's it's a huge show, and I'm
Yeah.
very grateful to be on it. And
No, it's brilliant,
for me,
yeah.
it's a really good role and something that hopefully will change people's perception of me.
Yeah. Do you think are you kind of back on your feet now? Do you reckon career-wise and everything?
I
is
think
starting
I
to go in
am.
the right
I think
direction?
I am. I'm working on a feature film script that I'm trying to get up and running. I just directed a short film over in LA that I directed and my brother wrote it. And James Cameron wants to have a look at that when I get back over there, and
Excellent,
Kate
wow.
Winslet wants to have a look at that. So I've got and on the two producers on Avatar and Titanic want to have a look at that. So I think I am. I think acting is. When it's good, and when it's bad. And you do look in the mirror. I personally, I can't speak for anybody else. Sometimes you look in the mirror and you think, what am I doing? You know, I don't come from an acting family. I was thrown in at the deep end when I was 22, 23 on
Yeah.
Titanic, and I didn't have like an infrastructure to protect me. And that's why I kind of floundered for many years. And it's interesting with my 2 brothers, because my brother is an assistant director and my other brother is an actor. So I'm going to try my best to make sure they don't make the same mistakes that I made. But we work together. We're trying create, you know, a couple of movies and, as I said, the short film. So, you know, in a good place. You know, I think.
Did you think you're giving it up at times?
Of
then,
course,
like,
yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, when you've got 2 kids and you have a family, it's a very selfish profession. And, you know, when it's not about you anymore, it's very difficult when the checks are not coming in. And you know, losing the weight was great, but the problem I had when I lost the weight is that all the directors I knew and casting directors I knew thought I was
the cherubic kind of
the, you know, the potato guy with the curly hair from Titanic.
Okay.
And then you go, no, I want to get seen for this role, but and like the movie star role. And they go, no, we're not going to see you for the movie star role. And then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 years go by, and it looks like you haven't worked. Like your CV doesn't show much work. So you know, because you've been in that transition period, it looks like you're not picking up work. But what it essentially is that you're not being placed in the right kind of work, or you're not going for the right kind of work. So, but of course,
it's kind of nothing to do with whether you're any good or not, or the kind of
a lot
effort
of
you're
it
making.
isn't.
It's all this kind of luck and everything.
A huge amount of it is luck. I mean, I was very lucky in the fact that I was here doing Love Hate, and the Titanic 3D premiere happened to be on in London, and I went over and I reconnected with Kate and Jim Cameron and all the producers from Avatar and Titanic. And that job from 15 years ago, even though it was weird watching it, and
I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I mean, you're looking at yourself like, I mean, you know, what was I thinking? You know what I mean? Seriously. But in a weird way, it was a great bit of timing for me to be here doing Love Hate. And to have
because that means you're networked back into them a bit
back
now,
in.
and that's
So
going
when
to
I go
help
back
you.
to the States, I'm going back in to talk to proper people who make stuff, who have genuinely said that they will help me out. So yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I have to say, you know, a lot of actors can be a bit, you know the way they can be, right? You seem really self-aware, and you seem really kind of open and kind of honest kind of person, and you know the situation you're in, and you know
I
where
mean,
you're
you know,
going.
I had one chance and I blew it, and I've lived a lifetime since, and I've had a family, and I've got a second chance coming, and I'm going to grab it, and long may it continue, you know?
Yeah, well, listen, we look forward to seeing you in Love Hate.
I'll come back and we talk about it.
Yeah, do, please, and
I'll
hope
be
we
able
see
to
you in
talk
lots of
about
others.
it then.
Good,
Yeah, exactly,
I look forward to it. Listen, it's been a real pleasure.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Barry.